Welcome back. It's C on the Speed 252. My name is Clarence. I want to thank you for pushing that play button. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, definitely scroll over there, mash that red button, and definitely hit that bell button right beside it so you get notification anytime I release a new video. So I had a few of you ask me, where exactly did this Corvette clock come from? Where did I purchase it? I did not buy it personally. It came from family members of mine who thought this would look good in my man cave technically. But I will say I love everything about it, except I don't like the hands. They're not as accurate in the clock as I want it to be, but I think it's a great addition to the garage, and I greatly appreciate it. I will ask them exactly where they bought this clock from, so I know some of you that would like to purchase that clock or also have it in your garage as well. Another thing I want to talk about is the new giveaway. So the new giveaway, and the giveaway is going to get better as time goes on. This is an awesome flag, you know, and I feel like I want to give it to one of you personally. So all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below, and that will enter you in the drawing to win this awesome flag. You can hang it up in your house, in your garage, in your man cave, wherever you like. I'm telling you right now, this is an awesome flag that I'd like to give away to one of you. And you know, a lot of you have been asking me information about Corvette and Carlisle. I'm going to make a separate video about Corvette and Carlisle sometime soon, so I can give you an in-depth view or conversation on how I feel about that event and where you should do, what you should go in order to participate in that event as well. But, you know, this video is going to be a sad video, I feel like, because, you know, the Corvette and the Camaro could be possibly banned in the country. And, you know, I don't like that idea at all. This is a car that we came to love. And this could possibly hurt the C8 million Corvette sales. So I'll look at your thoughts and view on this topic as well. And definitely share this video. You know, I want a lot of Corvette enthusiasts to tell me how they feel about the Corvette being possibly banned. You know, give me your thoughts on this whole entire thing. Because at the end of the day, this is a car that we all grown to love. And that's, you know, some people that's still that dream car. So give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Without further ado, let me stop playing around and let's hop into this video. So I certainly want you to voice your opinions and leave all your comments down below on how you feel about the emissions. Like, they're really going to tighten the emission regulations on sports cars, on trucks, and some other countries are pretty much saying they're going to ban, you know, the Corvette and the Camaro and possibly the C8 engine Corvette because of the tightened emission regulations. And here in Oakland, we definitely have our emissions regulations. We have to run tests and stuff on our cars. I don't know about every other state in the United States, but there's a lot of countries that's definitely going to ban some of these cars. So leave your comments down below. And definitely, I can't say this enough, share this video as much as possible because we would like to get a lot of people's opinions on the emissions regulations and see if there's anything we can actually do about this. So definitely share this video.
The head of the EPA said today that he wants to revise fuel emission standards for cars and trucks.
However, he didn't spell out the exact changes, but says they would help make cars safer and more affordable. So, do we need these standards? Good question. Here's Heather Brown.
They don't make cars like this anymore, do they?
No. But I'm imagining it gets, 20 miles per gallon.
Get about 26 on the highway.
15 to 16 or 18, depending on my foot.
Compared to my work truck, which gets about 7 miles per gallon.
In 1980, the average vehicle on the road got 15 miles per gallon. It then went up, leveled off, before climbing again to right around 25. 2012 federal rules required new cars and trucks to average 54.5 miles to the gallon by 2025.
That doesn't mean that every single car on the road has to get 55 miles per gallon.
No, that's an average based on the sales of each manufacturer.
Gabriel Chan teaches at the Humphrey School.
So they have to sell a bunch of 70 mile per gallon cars so they can offset the ones that only get 15 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, exactly. That's the strategy a lot of automakers are doing.
According to the EPA, automakers have been improving fuel efficiency in every kind of vehicle to record levels. But with low gas prices,
I kind of like this car, though, just because of the snow.
More and more people are buying trucks and SUVs.
And that's part of the reason I try to get a smaller SUV. I mean, it's not a Prius, but compared to some.
That shift has many car makers worried they'll have trouble hitting that 54.5 target by 2025.
If we really want to address climate change, if we really want to clean up the air in a lot of our cities, it's going to require some restrictions on the kinds of cars that people buy and sell.
Chan says higher emission standards will increase car prices up front.
In the long run, it's going to pay for itself.
Consumer Reports says the cost would jump about $2,000, but you'd save over $6,000 in gas over the lifetime of the vehicle. And the EPA also says the current rules would cut greenhouse gas emissions by 6 billion tons.
California is unique in that it is allowed to write its own emission rules. The state says it will fight the federal government on any changes.
And this will be a challenge moving forward because automakers don't want two different standards.
So tell me how you feel about it so far, based off that clip that we just seen. Tell me how you feel about the emissions regulation. And I'm going to talk about some other countries who's considering banning these cars in due time regarding their new regulations and things like that. So in other countries such as Europe, they continue to tighten their emissions regulations. The handful of Europe and UK citizens that appreciate the Chevrolet V8 and has been hoping to get the latest performance offering from the brand and finding themselves in a pinch. The latest performance they're referring to, the C8 mid-engine Corvette. So we all have talked about a number of times, will the C8 mid-engine Corvette sell, in Europe and the UK, the Camaro, the C7 Corvette, etc., etc. And the Corvette C7 and the Camaro have been both sold in Europe and in UK. And those guys and ladies definitely appreciate the American muscle. So do we. Obviously, it's our American-made sports car. But a ban on sales of Chevy vehicles with a 6.2-liter LT1 V8 engine will take effect August 31st, 2019, which making the C7 Corvette and the 6th generation Camaro SS impossible to purchase a new one in Europe and the United Kingdom. Here's a question that I actually cannot answer, and I kind of want to bring this to you all. I want your opinion. Tell me why you think this is the case. People in Europe and other countries are able to still buy the new Chevrolet C7 Corvette and Camaro SS up until August 31st. And possibly may not even be able to buy the C8 mid-engine Corvette, but they are still able to buy a used Camaro and a used Corvette. Why is that? Why aren't they able to purchase a new one, but they're able to buy an old one? It seems that 460 horsepower V8 engine just doesn't fit with other countries' vision of pollution-free future. And a lot of people are starting to think like, at the end of the day, we're trying to do everything we possibly can to make this, the world a better pollution-free emission type of place. Depending on who you may ask. So here's a picture of my car, my 460 horsepower Corvette Grand Sport. When I bought this car, did I genuinely think about emissions or regulations? Absolutely not. But I will say I'm also the guy who, on both coins, I have a C7 Corvette and I also own a Toyota Prius. Now, once again, the Toyota Prius is my day-to-day driver. I kind of get by in that car because, I like the gas mileage and things like that comes with that car. On top of that, I have a C7 Corvette, what I like to take around to car shows, car events, track events. I enjoy bringing this car to places where I get to meet my followers, pretty much family members of the channel and things like that. So I like to play both sides of the coin. At the end of the day, I don't know how bad supposedly these muscle cars are actually hurting the ozone layer and things like that. But according to these other countries, supposedly it's a bad thing to own sports cars and whatnot. And, in California, they make their own emissions regulations, which I ain't gonna lie, California has a lot of rules on what you're able to do to your vehicle. And that makes it tough for a lot of people over there to actually want to afford or even buy sports cars in the first place. But, California is a rich state, and you see lots of Ferraris and Lamborghinis and McLarens and also Corvette owners out there as well. So how many people actually bought their sports car and thought about the emissions regulation? Because I know a lot of people talk about, oh, I get great gas mileage in my Corvette, but do you actually buy your Corvette because of the gas mileage, or do you buy because you actually enjoy driving a beautiful machine? I'm not going to lie, off topic, this C7 Corvette looked freaking amazing in this photo, by the way. So back on pretty much other countries banning the Chevrolet, or not even just the Chevrolet, the American muscle car in general, supposedly hardly our cars was not even selling that great across the water anyway. So all of a sudden now they want to consider banning our vehicles from being sold across the pond. A lot of people go on to say in the United Kingdom that if you want to buy a Corvette and Camaro, you can actually only buy it from one single authorized dealership over there. that make it tough. That really makes it tough for a lot of people to actually want to buy a brand new C7 Corvette or Camaro or possibly the new mid-engine Corvette if it's only going to be sold by one authorized dealer in that area. So here's another very interesting point that I didn't know, and some of you may have known or may not know, that American sports cars really aren't sold that great over there anyways, but Camaros actually do sell really well over there as far as the used ones goes. Not the new ones, as far as the used ones goes. And the Corvette, as far as the used car value goes, don't even sell that well. They're not even in the top 10 as far as being sold in the UK. So once again, I guess technically them selling new cars doesn't really hurt them that much once they put a cap on not being able to sell them, because they prefer to sell used ones anyway.
Tailpipe emissions get all the attention when it comes to eco-action. But tailpipes are only a part of the story. Vehicles use energy and make emissions throughout their whole life, from manufacturing of raw materials to the vehicle scrapyard. The total of these is called its carbon footprint. So to really know how green a vehicle is, you have to look at its entire life cycle. That's called Life Cycle Assessment, or LCA. It's the whole story about a vehicle. You see, a vehicle is using energy and creating emissions even before it becomes a vehicle. First, there's creating the material that makes the car. Raw ore is taken from the ground and is used to make the material, which requires energy and creates emissions. Then the vehicle is manufactured. More emissions. Only after someone buys the vehicle and starts driving it do we get the tailpipe emissions, which is also called the use phase of its life cycle. And of course, it requires energy to send it to the scrapyard and recycle it back into materials to make more cars. And then the life cycle starts all over again. The material used plays a crucial role in the whole cycle. And when these materials are used in vehicles, their production emissions can completely outweigh the reduction in vehicle emissions that come from the lighter weight. Without a life cycle assessment approach, these critical trade-offs will be missed, and in the end, lightweighting will not achieve an improvement in the overall vehicle carbon footprint. As vehicle powertrains become more and more efficient, material and vehicle production emissions will become more critical. Today, with traditional internal combustion engines, material production accounts for 15% of the vehicle life cycle emissions. With advanced powertrains, such as plug-in hybrids, that figure rises to 50% of life cycle emissions. In the future, as electricity is derived from renewable energy sources like wind or solar, the life cycle emissions will completely shift, with 85% of emissions coming from vehicle production. If we continue on a tailpipe-only regulations course, a large part of vehicle lifetime emissions will remain completely unregulated.
I wanted to show that clip just to see if you had any different opinions about emissions and regulations and how tight they are trying to get on these emission regulations within other countries and also the United States. So as I stated before in previous C8 mid-engine Corvette videos, that GM is actually planning to sell this C8 mid-engine Corvette across the country because they want to tap into other markets. You know, at one point they said they was planning on put the steering wheel from the left-hand side of the car on the right-hand side of the car as well to be able to sell this car across the market. So here's the thing though. Will this actually hurt the sales of the C8 mid-engine Corvette? Because supposedly there's mentioning that the C8 mid-engine Corvette will either have an LT1 or LT2. We have seen a document where they had an LT2 6.2 liter V8. Will this also affect them trying to sell this car elsewhere, or will it not affect them trying to sell this car elsewhere? I mean, it just makes you wonder if GM will even push for European distribution for the upcoming C8 Corvette in other places. And don't get me wrong, I think this car is going to be phenomenal. I think there's going to be a lot of people who want to purchase this car. I think GM has stepped out their comfort zone to make the C8 mid-engine Corvette in order to be able to sell this car, not just alone in the United States, but sell it elsewhere. And in my personal opinion, if they're going to sell it elsewhere, that means that this is going to make this car a lot more affordable to a lot of people, which means that GM is going to make a crap ton of money off the C8 mid-engine Corvette if this car delivers everything that other mid-engine cars deliver as well. Thank you for watching. Definitely hit that subscribe button. And here's my address. If you would love to see me anything that be featured on the channel, anything that would like to go up on my wall, definitely please do so. If you love any merch whatsoever from my website, here's my website. And if you would like to get in contact with me, here's my email as well. Thanks again for watching, and check out some of my latest videos here at the end of this video as well. Have a great day.